So I have called the meeting to order, just in case people didn't hear that part. Um, Public comment is open. If there's any public comment at this time. There's not public comment. Okay. So we're going to take a couple of items out of order this evening. We're going to move the advertising pilot up to number 1. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Dr. Cummings. He's going to
Sure.
kick us
I
off.
want to introduce Mr. Keith Jensen. He is the new president of the reinvigorated Grafton Boosters Club. Off to a fantastic start. Had the chance to share a few emails with Keith about some different ideas, one being an advertising pilot program. I've shared the materials that Keith and the Boosters Club put together. So you have those materials, and Keith was kind enough to come out tonight to speak briefly about the program and answer any questions that you might have. So thanks for coming out, Keith.
Sure. So Keith Jensen, lived in Grafton since 2018. Twins, 9th graders, Luke and Leela. Luke is the athlete. Leela you'll see in local theater productions. And relative to the Booster Club, I think it got started about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And Joe Toshis ran it, and they had sort of a unique fundraising mechanism through bingo, actually, and that worked fairly well. And they raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then COVID hit, and I think generally the Booster Club got older and moved to Florida and things like that. So it was fairly dormant, I think would be a fair thing to say, through last year. Ashley asked for volunteers beginning of the school year, and put my hand up for that as semi-retired from a very long insurance career, and made the mistake of becoming the president because I have some time. I would say we were successful in the fall with getting concessions kind of up and running, and that will continue through. We were largely, I think, unsuccessful on the marketing side, but we're getting there. If you follow, you'll see some things on Instagram lately. So, we've gotten some help, and we're going to continue to get some more help. And then I am sort of in charge of this business sponsorship idea. Back in my insurance career, I did some deals with the New England Patriots and the New York Yankees, so this is sort of a natural thing for me to think about. So we started doing our research, and I think this is going to be a bit of an emerging trend, particularly with budgets as they are. And so we have a pilot program for you guys, and we're hoping that it sort of addresses any concerns. Now, if I hit down, will this
If you go left and right, so go to the right.
That. Okay. So it's a flexible pilot. When I say flexible as to duration, the advertisers, and the location, with the school committee and/or your designate having final approval really over everything. And even when it starts, even through the term. So initial 1-year term would sort of run August to August. That would be about my perspective. If for any reason you wanted to terminate any particular advertiser, let's say for whatever reason, an advertiser did something that the school committee wasn't happy with, and they're 8 months into a 12-month term on the contract, so that would mean say, well, okay, we take the sign down and we refund the advertiser a third. Make sense? So lots of control and adaptability. One thing, it's interesting moving from the private sector where I could just say, hey guys, do this by that, and it would happen. It was, and now with volunteers, the leadership challenge is more interesting for me. So one of the things that I like is this requires little to no effort. The signs go up, they stay up. There's really no ongoing effort relative to that. Also ties the school to the local business community, and we really didn't want that Little League look, where everything's a different size and color. So this would be, if we have a couple examples, hopefully we'll hit them here. So this is Marblehead High. They are my Booster Club heroes. I didn't know I would have Booster Club heroes, but now I do. They have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I think like near $1 million. Not all from this from the sponsorship program, but my guess, because we did some mystery shopping here, is this is about $70,000 annually to them. And you can see here it's relatively consistent in color. I want ours to be better than that. So this is a makeup of, I don't know if they were able to see this, it was included, but it would be in Grafton green and white. And so that's the program. I think conservative, $10,000 annually. My goal would be 20 for the next year, and that would hopefully help to offset any athletic fees or any budget items and help the school and its athletes thrive. So I think that's it. That's all I got. So I think the request is that we try a pilot program for the next school year, starting from sort of August to August, with those frameworks, and we probably need to designate. Because I'm assuming you guys don't want think about every advertiser. We'd also we'd have a list of like obviously no liquor stores, no cannabis, no political stuff, but you guys would maintain control of it or your designated place.
Thank you very much. Questions from the committee, Laura?
Really, actually, no questions. First, I want to thank you. Thanks for taking on the booster. Thanks for volunteering. It's wonderful to see this program come back. In a perfect world, I wish we didn't have to do anything like this, but I think it's great that we have some, some excitement going on. That we have parents and volunteers helping to make our athletic program robust, which is wonderful. I was part of, I'm member on the policy subcommittee, and we did talk about this just because of advertising. You've answered all my concerns in the fact that we would have just a chance to review and a chance if something comes up. We will have to make that tough decision, but that's on us to do. And that way that kind of keeps you out of that too, because we don't want to say no to people. So I think it's wonderful. I appreciate it. And I'm very firmly against athletic fees. So if we cannot do that and offset the cost and have small businesses get their support out there, I'm all for it. We take businesses advertising in our fun fair this weekend is sponsored. We have vendor fairs. I mean, we certainly have welcomed businesses into the schools. So this isn't a brand new thing.
Yeah, like even on the scoreboards.
And we've already agreed to do that. So I think it's a great idea, and hopefully it'll be hugely successful.
Yeah, the scoreboards the sponsorships are great because they help pay for the scoreboard, but then they stop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is ongoing recurring revenue.
Yeah.
Which is I run a small business right now, and recurring revenue is kind of the name of the game.
It's where it's at.
Rebecca?
I also think this is a fabulous idea. My question is, do you have a plan in place for finding advertisers, or what's your plan for that? I'm just curious more than anything.
Well, I've already talked to a few offhanded, and there's going to be interest, which is great. But yes, there is a young man from I think Hobart College, 2 or 3 years out, who he's starting his own business. It's kind of nice to partner with him, and so he would do all the marketing and sales and signage production.
Oh, wow.
He's even willing to put the signs on, but I know we might have to work with the facilities thing.
Thank you.
Leora?
Also a fan of the plan. Thank you for pulling it all together. Have we thought about which fields these are going on? Is it, are we starting with a football field for the fall? How will it be
I've
distributed?
become an athletic field geek. Every time I go, I kind of look around, and no matter, obviously, I think the stadium field would be prime time. I also think the upper turf would be very good. Could also do the softball field, and then maybe the baseball field. And I didn't put the gym on here yet because Jim's very busy with a lot of stuff, but there is some room there. But those would be, I'd start with the stadium field and the upper
the
turf, and then maybe expand from there.
Great, thank you.
I love this idea because it, as you say, you know, it's not Little League. The colors are consistent.
Yeah.
It's going to add rather than detract. I guess the only question I have is where is that money going to go? What's that money going to do?
Yeah, well, it's sort of an open question. The boosters don't have, like, we would partner with Ashley as our key contact and or this group to decide where it goes.
Because given our current budget situation, I would like to see that money go to support athletics in a direct way that would
Yeah.
avoid having to charge athletic fees.
Yeah, the mission
That to
statement.
me should be the-
mission statement is to support Grafton athletes and Grafton High in general, and then we do have a college scholarship program. But this would be this money would go to the latter.
No, that's
Okay.
great because I think in the past the boosters have funded, you know, like Super Bowl jackets, rings, that kind of stuff, and that's not in line with what we need right now.
Right.
It'd be
Yeah.
great if our teams went to the championships and got swag, but I feel like this needs to be, you know, helping the district out, helping defray costs. As has been discussed, you know, we haven't increased our coaching stipends in so long. It's really a shame.
Right.
It'd be great if we could somehow see our way to doing that.
Yeah, I'd
With
love
all
to,
of
like,
this.
even be able to, if we could fund a new team, that would be terrific.
So how would it work in terms of, I mean, you said the school committee doesn't have to approve each one, but we do have to approve each one. So
Yeah,
how
if you
would that
wanted
work?
I don't know if you guys want to designate. I'm sort of open on that. I'd be happy to. Here's the list. But I don't know if that would.
Maybe it's a list situation because the policy says we may grant permission for advertising. And I think at least initially it would be a good idea, not that I'm going to be here to do it, but I think it would be a good idea if the committee exercised that responsibility.
I mean, if we're doing it August to August, it's like,
Yeah.
we can have one list.
Yeah,
for, like,
yeah. There'll
Yeah,
probably be a big
exactly.
tranche,
Yeah,
at least in the June-July timeframe.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
then, assuming we don't sell out, maybe onesies and twosies
Yep.
from there forward.
I think that would be wise. And then maybe over time, you know, as repeat advertisers come back
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm expecting a high level of renewal.
Great. Any other questions, comments from the committee, from our student reps? No? Okay. I believe we need to vote on this, so I will take a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we allow advertising to support our athletic boosters at the high school in our stadium and field.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. For 1 year?
Yes.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further comments, questions, thoughts? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you. Thank you for coming in.
I
Keith.
am a fan of the school.
We are a fan of you.
Thank
Tell your
Thank you
friends.
very
We like money.
We don't have a lot. We don't have a lot of fans.
Somebody's gonna come in here and offer us money. It's pretty much.
Yeah,
Right. Seriously.
money for the schools, we love you.
Special education report with Nicole McDonald and Chris Kitchell. Come on up. Did I pronounce that right, Chris?
You sure did.
Awesome.
Are you also fans of the school committee?
But also, I just looked at Chris and was like, we dressed alike.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good job.
Plan, right? No.
Pointing it out, we did not plan it, but
Oh.
we do look very similar.
We're a team.
So thank you for having us. We are here today for just a couple updates. Quick discussion on, let's see, preschool programming, give quick updates on some special events that really take place for our population of students with disabilities over the course of the spring. It's kind of a busier time for us socially. And then give a quick update on professional development and some of the work that Chris has been doing with some of our co-teaching. So to jump in, I know there's been, a lot of discussion about preschool programming during school committee, especially with some of our budget discussions. So I felt like it was useful for us to really kind of deep dive a little into something that I'm a little geeky about with regard to preschool programming. So first starting like with what is an integrated preschool program. So I think that that is something that is super essential to have a good understanding about when we're talking about making decisions for our preschoolers. So the integrated preschool program is really regulated by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education under the special education regulations. It is meant to be a place where our students with disabilities at the early intervention level, that 3 to 5 age range, have an opportunity to come to school and be integrated with typical peers within the classroom. So there are different regulations regarding ratios and things like that that I'll jump into. But that is the essential component. Those community peers really make or break your integrated preschool. If we don't have kind of that balance, it's no longer an inclusion opportunity, right? It becomes only a special education opportunity. So our classroom determination. So there's been, discussions about how many classrooms we have, how we maintain classrooms, the need to go down and up or questions about that stuff. Typically, we use our special education numbers to determine the amount of classrooms we would have within each different building. That is determined by a number of things. So, of course, as a lot of you know, preschool is ages 3 to 5. So really that's 2 cohorts of students that are coming into that programming. So with that, we take projections from early intervention. So our early intervention providers, the Criterion Valley is the one we use, or that links into Grafton the most, but we also use different area early interventions as well for referrals. They are numbers, so they project out for us. We have 3 students turning 3 in July. Now, mind you, with some of that, there are, HIPAA rules along with early intervention. So we don't know details about those students that we're going to get referred until the parent gives permission for early intervention to provide that information. So we might have, projected 23 students, up through the course of the year. But we don't know if those students are neighborhood community north, neighborhood community south students, whether their areas of disability are minimal in the sense of like maybe a communication speech only type disability, or whether there are students that have some more intensive needs. So those details don't give us a huge picture, but give us a little bit of information to make some determinations along those lines. We do also use different trends of our eligibility in the past. So we know over the last, and that's, obviously, as some of you know, I was the preschool coordinator for a number of years, and now Melissa Johnson is our preschool coordinator. So we collect that data over the course of, the last 7-8 years to say, out of our, EI referrals, this many students have historically been eligible for preschool programming. And we try to use that information to help inform and project. And then, of course, students moving into kindergarten. So like I said, there is those 2 cohorts of students. So we have students that are 3 that will stay with us for, a whole nother year. And then we have students that are turning 5 over the course of the school year. And we know that they are age eligible for kindergarten next year. So we kind of look at all of that conglomerate of stuff to determine how many special education students we will have over the course of the next school year. And that's how we determine how many classrooms we need. So some questions have been brought up in the past about, our tuition and where we align to other school districts. So I did pull some data from some of our other school districts in the area. Myself and Melissa Johnson are on a lot of listservs and job alikes, and there are a lot of spreadsheets out there with everyone kind of collecting this information to help inform their school committees and their special education administrators on that tuition piece of things, but also types of programming that you might have. So those are a lot of discussions that we have as kind of, I want to say, like preschool leadership teams across the state. So I pulled a bunch of data from some of those things and had some lists about different districts in the area that might have similar program. These are the districts that I was able to narrow down, have both the same programming that we do. So next year we will have the 5-day half-day program and the 5-day full-day program. So I wanted to compare kind of apples to apples. Some programs have 3-day half-day, 4-day half-day, 5-day afternoon, and it gets all very convoluted a little bit when you're trying to compare tuitions. So I only pulled the districts that had similar program to us.
I have a quick question.
Absolutely.
And these are all DESE integrated preschool,
Yes. Yes.
not childcare programs
Right.
or,
Right.
with a
So there's-
preschool
there's-
director and some sort of a different.
Great point. So there's a lot of differences between an integrated preschool that is regulated by DESE than a daycare or preschool that is regulated by EEC.
Yep.
So for a lot of different reasons. Staffing to student ratios are different in those programs. The programming itself is different. The qualifications of the individuals that are providing the teaching services are different. So there's a lot of differences there. Our integrated preschool is a special education service. So our half-day students receive 2.5 hours of special education services in their time that they're at Grafton Public Schools. If they are full day, they're receiving almost 6 hours of special education services. So when we really think that through, right, although it is integrated and some students have different related services and things like that, that is a long time of direct instruction from a special education teacher over the course of a day. And when you also think about like a three-year-old, they're still very small at that time. And for those of you who have had 3-year-olds, napping is a thing for sure still at that 2.5, 3 years old time frame, sometimes even into 4. Especially for maybe a student with disabilities who has to almost work a little bit harder, do you know what I mean, in a lot of ways to be able to attend and actively participate in their instruction. So with that response, that's where that half day and full day distinction comes into for our special education students. That's a lot of service, and it's a pretty intensive service when you think about that for a 3 or 4-year-old. So I just put that also in a graphic representation on this. Grafton's first on both of these. So we're kind of, right in that middle of the road with regard to tuition for comparable districts. I did not pull comparable districts for programming, I should say. I did not pull like school size, because I think if we did the programming and then also school size, we might only be able to compare 2, 3 maybe schools. So I just didn't think that was a representative sample of what's going on out there. But that is our programming. So this is where I highlighted some of the differences between an EEC program and an integrated preschool. That ratio 1 to 10 students typically in an EEC preschool. And then for us, it's 2 to 15. So we're required, in order to be integrated, to have one more student that is a community peer to our special education students. So we typically in our classrooms have 8 community peers to 7 special education students. So it's under that 50% of students are community peers, so that makes it really integrated. Scheduling options are very different in an EEC program than, of course, a DESE program. We don't have, later days. We follow the school calendar. There's no program that happens during, breaks that the school calendar has. So that is a big difference. And really just that aspect of like our integrated preschool program isn't really for profit. It's for special education students to have the opportunity to have community peers around them and be provided with their special education students around students that can model for them different skills, play skills, social skills, speech and language, articulation. That is really the goal of that integrated preschool. And then, of course, licensing, right? So, we require our teachers to be special education teachers, licensed special education teachers, often dual certified with a early childhood portion of their license. Your daycare preschools have EEC licensure, which is a little bit different than our DESE licensure. And requirements are often different in that front. Do you want me to follow your lead? Do you want me to pause
Are there any
there?
questions on that portion of the presentation?
So that was all our preschool stuff.
Madam Chair, are we discussing fees this evening as in increasing fees, or are we just learning of what their fees are?
I asked for an overview, and that's what we've gotten. We're not going to make a decision tonight. We're just,
Okay, because I just wanted to state that looking at what the data is that you provided for the schools that are comparable, as you stated, the average for half-time, if we exclude Grafton, is $4,368, and we're charging $4,000. That's a difference of $368, which doesn't seem like much, but times 72 students, that's $26,000 difference. And then if we look at the full-time, the difference is the average is $8,400, and we're charging $6,500, which is a difference of $1,900. So total wise, like we're about $80,000 off annually from the average.
To clarify though, we don't have 72 community peers. So there's not 72 students, that's 72 students altogether, including.
So what are the numbers for students that are paying?
Okay, so let me do some math. For our full day class, 8 students per class. So we have one at South and one at North.
So that's
So that's
16.
16 students
Okay.
for our full day classroom.
Yep.
And then it's 8, 16. Don't embarrass me by staring at me as I count by 8s, which is hard. 24. Thank you. 32. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right now, 7 half-day sections. So 7 times 8.
56.
56. Thank you. 56 half-day students.
Okay, so that's $20,000 on half day and $30,000 on full day. So that's still a difference of $50,000 that we're off if we compare it to the average.
In that average.
The average is based on what you provided.
Oh, I'm not arguing that. But that includes some outliers. I
Yeah.
can't flip to it, but there were a few that
Ah.
seemed
then-
like they were like private schools
Ashland.
tuitions.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
We-
Oh.
Go back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these are I'm just going off
Oh,
of
no,
what
no,
you
I'm-
gave me.
I'm-
When I
Pointing it out.
Right. So when you look at the average, there's definitely some outliers
Yeah.
that are much higher, especially in full day programming. And then there are some that are much lower. You're absolutely correct. The way I have worked with Kathleen in the past, Anita prior to that, and Dan to determine our tuition has always been based on what it was prior. And kind of a slow increase depending on our programming. So when I first started as the preschool coordinator, we had 4-day, half-day programming only. There was no full-day programming. There was no 5 days a week. It was 4-day, half-day programming. And when I started, that was $250 a month. So over the course of the 10 months that we get preschool tuition was $2,500 for a typically developing student to join, community student to join the preschool program. So over that course, we have certainly slowly raised that tuition as we've gone along. One key component to that is that you often have, like I said, it's a kind of a 2-year program, right? So to change sometimes tuition on families that paid potentially $250 last year, and then we jumped to $350, that is always a concern. So we've always worked with our finance director on what is that slow burn to increase that we don't scare off families from participating. The key component to our preschool program is the integrated nature of that. So we have always worked kind of a fine dance on how we increase our tuition, so as to not make it so that people can't afford it or that people aren't joining up, because then we don't meet our regulations and we don't have our typical peers. So that gets really complicated along the way. So we have kind of slowly increased that over the course of the last couple years, going from 2,500 for a half day to now 4,000 for the half day over the course of 5 years. So it's been a ride along the way. But I think that's the crucial component for all integrated preschools. There are some school districts out there that cannot get community peers, whether that's because maybe they're a bigger school district, maybe there's a head start that happens within that school district, maybe there's other things that kind of play into that role. And so they offer free integrated preschool program because they cannot get the community peers. In the past, we've had to reach out to staff members and say, does anyone want to bring their kids to our integrated preschool, to just get people to kind of buy in and participate. Given the limited hours that we're able to provide, just because of a lot of things, teachers' contract, how long they can work in a day, those kind of things, don't always work for families. So our families that can't do a 2.5-hour session, or even for that matter, a 6-hour session. I don't know about you all, but if you work full time, you don't really work 6 hours a day, it becomes very hard for families to do that. And then, when you're not working full time and you have your child needs to be picked up, you're also not having the funds to spend a whole lot more either. So we've tried to really navigate that dance to keep our community peers, keep a demand. I will say that right now we do have a demand for that. But people talk about our waiting list. We go through our waiting list every year. We get all the way to the end. And partly because we do have 2 community schools too, right? So we have North and South. So if I'm a family that my child is going to kindergarten at North Grafton Elementary School, I don't want to go to South Grafton Elementary School for preschool. So I'm holding out for that North Grafton spot. So it's a very interesting dynamic along the way that we've tried to work through.
Any other questions, comments on fees specifically? Thank you for pulling all that data together, by the way. I think it's helpful for us and for the public as well as we move into the next budget cycle to kind of know what we're looking at. So I really do appreciate it. Anything else?
The school committee approves the fees, correct?
I don't believe we do.
For preschool? No, we don't? Oh, okay. I wasn't
No.
sure. Okay.
Can I just add something? Thank you for this. It's really helpful. I do also think that there's a movement in the state to make preschool free, which will impact us in some ways if that goes through. But something for all of us just to keep in mind. And no surprise, I'm actually pretty much for that, as early education should be granted to all without a fee. But so I just to keep that in mind. And it's obviously not happening anytime soon, but I know it's on the docket up at the State House. So
I think if it were free, interestingly enough, I think that would impact
We'd probably get more money.
the families who take advantage of it, right? People are going to be more likely to take
Yeah.
advantage of it because it's free, even
Right.
though it's not the most convenient option.
well, then I think
Yeah.
public
And
versus
if we
private.
had,
Yeah.
If there was, the people are calling it universal preschool,
Mhm.
where it was free, that certainly would change things for us as a school district.
Yes.
So right now we have 2.5 classrooms at South Grafton Elementary School, and we have 3 at North Grafton Elementary School. You figure your average
Mhm.
enrollment for a kindergarten class is about between 90 and 100 students, right? If we do that for 4-year-olds and 3-year-olds for preschool at each building, we're looking at an excessive amount of classroom space, teaching staff, paraprofessional staff. It would change a lot of things for us, financially as well.
We would
So-
never get an unfunded mandate from the state.
No,
That would
never.
never,
I'm sure the state would
never
fund
happen.
it.
Yeah, sure.
100%.
outdoor
sure.
classroom, come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and we don't have to discuss that tonight, but absolutely.
No, but it's
And
fun.
I shouldn't say free. You're right, because I always get comments, nothing is free, but universal is the correct word.
Universal. That's great.
Universal.
In which
And with, may I add something?
Of course.
With the preschool fees and any particular, we've barely moved the fees for a long time. We are in complete agreement that going forward, whether we increase fees, decrease fees, whatever, we're going to bring that to the committee for a vote from now on. It's not only best practice, it's probably something we have to do, actually.
One thing I will note as well is we do have, for those folks that are, interested in preschool, we do have a sliding fee scale for individuals that need financial assistance as well. So I think that's something to also keep into account. Even if we did have more tuition, we might also have, sliding fee scale that it's not exactly, 8 students equals this amount of money. So just throwing that in there too.
And is that based on or different from the federal free-reduced lunch standard?
Kathleen used the same formula for that
Which hasn't been adjusted in a good
forever.
50 years.
Yep.
So,
Yes. Yes.
awesome. Great. Thank you. Anybody else?
just a quick, yeah, the value of the integrated nature of our preschool cannot be overstated. I'm a graduate of the integrated preschool, or the relationships that are formed when our kids who receive special education services continue on into the schools, elementary school, middle school, high school, are invaluable. So I would not want to jeopardize any of that by making preschool inaccessible to families in town who might not be getting it from a special education standpoint.
And I would plug on that front that it's invaluable to those students that are our community peers
Yep.
for their level of acceptance and understanding of disability very early on. There's nothing really that compares to that
Yep.
Along the way.
Okay. What else you have?
It's hot up here.
Sorry.
It is.
I'm sorry. There's a lot more lights now.
It's good, all right. So just some special events. The springtime is such a great time for us. We recently had Best Buddies Prom. I will plug Everyday Heroes, which is tomorrow evening. So if anyone wants to come by, it's a wonderful evening. And for those of you who don't know, Everyday Heroes is an opportunity for individuals that have pretty much made a difference in the life of a student with disabilities and really promoted inclusion within the school. Individuals can make nominations towards people that would get a lovely award. I look back at Stella. But it's a great evening. And so if people are around, Grafton High School, tomorrow, 6:30, plug. And then our Special Olympics. Actually, this picture is from, you can see how many people were actually there last year. We go to Leicester Middle School, High School for the Special Olympics. It's a little bit of an undertaking for us in the sense of we have 42 students that are participating in the Special Olympics through Leicester and also last year. It's a wonderful day, so much fun. Out on the fields, different school districts and different out-of-district schools also participate in the Special Olympics in Leicester. So it's a really, really nice day. That's actually happening on Friday of this week. It's a very busy week in the area of special education. And then we also have a picture of our integrated sports. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris because Chris has been really supporting some of our unified sports at Grafton Middle School this year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've had some good success expanding our unified sports program, which has been established at the high school. down to the middle school level. This pairs typically developing students with some of our special education students and gives them greater opportunities for inclusion and for sports activities. In the fall, we rolled out bocce at the middle school, and we had good participation. It was the first time we've run the program, so we were pretty pleased. In the wintertime, we did kind of like a strength and conditioning segment in which students basically joined and did kind of different circuits and got involved in calisthenics and things like that. The intention and the hope is to join basketball next year because there was a good amount of interest in that. So that's the goal for next year. And in the spring, we had a pretty robust unified track program. And the students did participate in track meets at local school districts. And it was well attended. So we feel like it's been successful, and we hope to see it continue to expand.
And I will plug Chris Starcheski
Yes.
on this. I think he actually came to us and was like,
Mhm.
"This is what I want to do." So I think, I want to just give him a quick shout out on that. All right.
Yeah.
Professional development.
So one of our district initiatives that I helped kind of initiate this school year was basically to provide our teachers with greater tools to provide more specially designed instruction and modification within the co-teaching classroom. This, with the goal being to increase inclusiveness for all students, general education and special education, and to provide, greater research-backed teaching strategies. The intention is kind of go through 6 research-based co-teaching styles of instruction. Goal being to increase the simultaneous group instruction with emphasis on differentiation and, again, specially designed instruction. We had some good success rolling that out in the school year. As we started working on that, I don't know if this is for the next slide too, but as we started working on that, and I was working with teachers, we had some district initiatives in curriculum this year as well in terms of some new ELA and new mathematics. And as I was working with co-teaching pairs, we realized that they were feeling like they needed more support with the curriculum as well. In special education, we feel like you can modify and offer specially designed instruction for any curriculum, which is true. However, it is easier to do with curriculum that you are familiar with and confident with. So as the school year progressed, we pivoted a little bit, and I paired with some of our curriculum coaches and curriculum staff to try to offer concrete examples of how to modify the instruction with the curriculum that the teachers were actually using. That was met with some success too. So we're kind of right in the middle of our hopeful trajectory for increasing our co-teaching practice throughout the district. So in terms of next steps that I hope to start right at the beginning of the next school year is to have increased and greater alignment with the curriculum department to continue to address teachers' needs. We want them to feel like we're listening and hearing their concerns. One of my goals is also to develop an in-house library of good examples of co-teaching practices. We all go to professional developments, and I have a lot of great examples of wonderful co-teaching, but it's not folks that are in Grafton or teachers that are in Grafton. We have wonderful teachers, very skilled teachers. I think it would be very powerful to offer teachers, examples of wonderful co-teaching that's done by our actual staff, especially when you think about new teachers. I think that could be a really good part of professional development for newly hired staff coming into the district. And then as the year progresses, we're going to do follow-up sessions with co-teaching pairs to review areas of improvement and hear their continued challenges, and the goal being to offer more robust co-teaching for our both special education and general education population.
That's all we got. That's all we got.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. This was very informative as always. I'm sorry I hauled you in for my last meeting, but it's I like the fact that you come back more. I think when I started on the committee, you came once a year, and we've increased that now, which just shows how important special education is and also how amazing you and your team are. So it's lovely to see you both. And if there's any other comments, questions from the committee, I'll take those now. Nope. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is MASC resolution. Becca's going to kick us off.
Pull it up here. So, I hope you guys had a chance to look at the resolution that I wrote up. It does include a bunch of citations, which are not usually included in resolutions, but I actually put them in when I was writing this myself, just so I could be like, this is where the data is, and if anyone asks, I want to have somewhere that I can point back to. And when I sent it to Amy for her thoughts, she was like, I think you should keep them. And it is a topic, this is a topic that I'm super, super passionate about. BMI testing in general is something that there is a lot of evidence that it is not really meaningful, and it is sort of an archaic tool that we use to point to tell you if you're healthy or not. And especially in adolescence, it is just like meaningless. Like, it is really meaningless, and the damage that it can do, in my personal opinion, and in science and evidence right here in front of us, is just astronomical. When I really dug into this, it was kind of like, okay, well, the schools want to know the BMI. We must be then doing something with that data. And the fact is we're not. We're reporting it, and that's it. And, there's all of this training that has to happen for that BMI testing to happen so that it can be confidential and everyone knows what they're doing and blah, 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 all of these things. But I'm just going to say, and I think we all know it's true, it's like you're doing BMI testing. Kids are talking. Everyone knows they don't want that test happening, or they don't care because they don't have a problem with BMI. And why do we have that happening in our schools? So anyway, I knew I would get all ragey and like excited when I started talking about it, but I hope you had a chance to look through the resolution. And if anyone has any questions or comments, I'd be happy to talk to you, but I'm hoping that we can, and I have reached out to a few other districts that I'm hoping are going to co-sponsor with us, but I'm hoping to send this forward to MASC to have it at the meeting this fall.
If I can just real quick,
Thank you.
because we have an audience for once. Not that I'm bitter. So what we're talking about is a resolution that would get voted on, if approved by this committee and put forward. It would get voted on at our annual conference of the Massachusetts Association of School Committees as part of a legislative agenda. This is something that would need to be changed in the law to eliminate BMI testing in the public schools. Right now, we are mandated to do it, and there's all kinds of parameters around it. And as she said, all kinds of training that has to happen. Privacy, private areas, students have to go in, and it's a tax on a system that already is taxed. I mean, I feel like I'm not exaggerating when I say that our nurses work really hard and they have a lot of responsibilities, and this is just like something piled on top of it that doesn't benefit the districts, it doesn't benefit the students directly. All we're doing is reporting the state to the state, and nothing happens. It's weird. It's not like it's immunization records or anything like that.
And they also are required to have a physical once a year at their doctor.
Right.
So,
And that appears on the physical form when you
It
turn it
does.
into the school
It
nurse. Guess
does.
what? It's right there, but they still have to do it.
that's cool.
And we can talk about access to medical care and that sort of thing. Sorry, I'm looking at you and I shouldn't be. Because medical care is not free for many people, and I realize that access continues to be an issue. And I think in the case of, well, anyway. So when
Digress.
after Rebecca and I went to the MASC conference, and since we had both had the chance to be delegates in the past 2 years, we started talking. We were super proud to be part of another resolution that was put forward by Worcester. We co-sponsored that with them, and that passed. And I said to Rebecca, like, do you feel strongly about anything? Like, we should do a resolution again. That was great. And she immediately started raging in the hallway about BMI testing. And it really wasn't even on my radar. But I learned a lot. I clicked on every single one of the sources in here.
Thank you.
I didn't read every single one to the end, but I
That's fair.
got an idea. It does, what strikes me is, especially is how the concept of BMI came about and what it was originally designed to be used for. Would you like to tell everybody that part? Because I found that interesting.
I don't remember the exact.
It was
details.
white men. It was white
Oh,
men.
yes. Oh,
Right.
yes. It is.
And
So it is white men.
Sorry. Don't
Thank
point
you.
at the white men. That's not fair.
White men.
We have 3 in this room.
We have 3 in the
have
room,
three
and it's
in
not
the
their
room.
faults,
Yes.
but
3
Yeah.
of the good ones.
And there has been
Anyway.
a lot of research that it is not indicative for women, but especially if you start looking at women of color, it's like meaningless, like absolutely meaningless. So
Not,
yeah, go ahead.
not to mention the fact that it just sits in a file. I mean, it's not like we're doing some sort of
Intervention.
health food intervention, you know,
We're
or
not.
or providing more opportunity for we're not
Right.
doing anything with it. We're just labeling people, and it makes 0 sense.
The Mass
Yeah.
Department of Public Health aggregates the data and reports it.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's not like the vision testing where all these kids are like, I discovered I need glasses.
Exactly. You have
Right.
scoliosis.
Or scoliosis.
Or hearing.
Right. Right.
You
or
know, I
hearing.
mean, those are-
Exactly. These are actionable. This
Yes.
is-
Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
silly.
It is
Or
silly.
life.
Or
Ugh.
Right.
Oh,
and,
there's no-
and worse, you have
Why did
this
you have to go
testing,
there?
you get your number, and you are given no guidance.
As to
And
what
so
it means.
therefore you are more prone to an eating disorder, which I get into much farther down this list.
Yep,
Which
you
is,
sure do.
there is
Then
some
you end up
major
on-
damage that can be done from the fact that there is then no follow through. So,
So,
yes.
so Rebecca, thank you. I applaud. I love your rage, and I support your rage, and for actually taking action with your rage, which is more important. What do, Madam Chair, we don't have a
Like, why
vote
would you
on
vote?
this yet.
I did
right?
not put
I-
it as required because I didn't know what the committee's pleasure would be.
Right.
We are not required to warn the public about something like this ahead of time. We can sit on it and vote at the last meeting of the year, of
think-
May, or we can vote tonight to accept it.
My thought was, and this is just my thought, so Rebecca and I have also been working just because I have some MASC contacts. I think it would be, we're trying to get some support. I think it'd be easier and stronger if we could officially say that before we reached out, but I was like, we can't say anything. It's just a possibility right
Right.
now. But if we have we're talking about it now, doesn't seem
Right.
like I'm not getting that anybody's concerned
Super
about
into
this.
BMI testing anyway.
Yeah, super
Well, and
pro
that was one of the
BMI.
reasons why I wanted to have it on the agenda because I
Yeah.
knew we would need to pass it in order for
Yeah.
you to shop it.
Right.
Yeah.
That would
So,
make it more
If
shoppable.
Yeah.
nobody objects, we could definitely vote on it tonight.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to put vote required
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
We didn't.
Madam Chair, I
Yeah.
would especially like to vote on it tonight since you were so instrumental.
Right.
I'm
And
like
you're-
hardly
You to get-
instrumental.
And you're here, and so,
I was just a sounding board for her rage.
Again,
which
thanks
went
for
off.
the rage.
Like,
It's a great idea. It really
Yeah, I
is, and
think
it's not
we could
something
just
I've
vote on it.
seen.
No. And it's
I'll take a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
oh, you took it.
would you like it?
No, no.
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh God, Rebecca, you do. Oh.
Madam Chair, I move that the committee support
Mhm.
support the 2025 MASC resolution to remove the BMI testing from schools as submitted to the committee.
I second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Thanks, Rebecca.
Yes, thank you. for
Thank you,
that.
Rebecca.
It was clearly a lot of work.
Yeah, really good.
It was
Really
actually really.
And if it were a shorter meeting, I would read it out loud because I do love a resolution.
Just do it. You're chair for
I
how?
mean, you
Yeah,
got
do
this.
it.
This
Fine.
3 minutes isn't going to hurt us either way.
Whereas the BMI formula was developed in 1832 based on measuring a population of adult men, presumably all white. Not only does it not accurately represent racial and ethnic differences in normal body composition or normal developmental shifts as students move through puberty, but it also does not differentiate fat from muscle mass or fat distribution on the body, which would be necessary to categorize health implications. BMI is not a useful health screening tool. Whereas body size is determined by a complex combination of medical, social, economic, I read that wrong, social, socioeconomic, genetic, and environmental factors, but it's often viewed as a lifestyle choice. Whereas school faculty and staff do not have the training to appropriately diagnose or manage complex physical health conditions leading to an increased BMI in students, nor should it be their job. Students are required by law to have updated physical examinations by a healthcare provider before entering school and every 3 to 4 years thereafter, and any serious health conditions should be managed by a medical professional. Whereas specialized training of at least 2 staff members at each school is required to perform BMI screenings. Additionally, the required specialized spaces and protocols for privacy cost districts precious resources. Whereas the screening guidelines do not suggest any sort of in-school intervention, only reporting the schools to MDPH and students' guardians. Even if they did, school-based physical activity and nutrition interventions for ages 6 to 12 have shown no significant change in BMI. Whereas studies show that 50% of pre-adolescent girls and 30% of pre-adolescent boys dislike their bodies. Adolescents are particularly vulnerable to internalizing messages focusing on ideal weight, equating to health and self-worth. Whereas BMI testing has not been shown to improve BMI scores, but has the potential to increase weight stigma. Whereas global eating disorder prevalence of adolescents increased from 3.5% to 7.8% from 2001 to 2018. Whereas pre-adolescents and adolescents using weight control strategies such as dieting, fasting, etc., show higher BMIs later in life than those who do not participate in these strategies. Now, therefore, be it resolved that MASC urges the removal of the BMI screening requirement from all public schools. Be it further resolved that MASC urges the express banning of BMI screening in all public schools. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Superintendent evaluation. I did not prepare a presentation this year. I felt that we can kind of just go over what was in the evaluation and vote to accept it. So Dr. Cummings either met or made progress on all of the learning goals. Just as a reminder, and for the audience, goal 1 had to do with improving student proficiency rates in literacy by 10%. That goal was met, according to 4 committee members, and significant progress by 1. Learning goal 2 was a moonshot to do the same in math, so raise proficiency in math by 10%. Members of the committee all noted that we implemented a new mathematics curriculum this year, so this probably wasn't the best year for that goal. Progress was made, but it did not get up to 10%, so most committee members said some progress and 1 said significant progress. Professional practice goal number 1 had to do with improving communications. There were some very specific parts of that goal that were not met. Some progress was made. 1 committee member felt that the goal was met given the extenuating circumstances surrounding the fact that we did not ask for an override, therefore the communications we had planned did not take place. Goal number 2 had to do with leadership in emergency preparedness, and that goal was met or exceeded. Instructional leadership, exemplary and proficient scores across the board. The standard 2 management operations, 4 members said exemplary, 1 said needs improvement. Family and community, proficient, exemplary, proficient. It's always been an area of strength for our district. Professional culture, again, exemplary and proficient. And that's it. There was an attachment, a letter submitted by Christy Kilbazinski that becomes part of the evaluation record. Any members of the committee have any comments or questions? Overall, I felt like this evaluation was accurate, well done. I thank the members of the committee for their timeliness, given how busy May is. And we adjusted the timeline for that, or it was April, actually. Dr. Cummings, I feel like you had a great year. There was a lot of unexpected adversity in areas that we could not have foreseen, which seems to be par for the course for the last, 5 years. Every time we think we've hit some times of normalcy, there's always something that pops up. But I think that you and your team continue to meet the moment and exceed expectations in many areas. I look forward to seeing the math goal next year and having that be met. I do think that it was just unfortunate timing on that. But what was the number again? Do you remember?
off the top of my
Yeah, I
head.
don't remember it either.
But
Okay, that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
I
For the
knew it.
math one?
We weren't going to hit
Yeah.
it,
It was
which is okay.
2.65.
2.65%. There you go. What, at least we saw some improvement.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the 10%. We should aim high.
Yes,
I could
but that was,
goals that say
Yeah.
we're going to go up by 0.1 and like, woo, I made my
yeah,
goal.
but they should be.
I'm
they
not
should
gonna
be,
do
you
that,
know,
ever.
Somewhat achievable, right?
Eh.
Somewhat. But,
Um,
room for growth. But do you have comments?
Just thank you to the committee for the feedback, the support. Of course, I'll take the feedback and try to incorporate it into next year's efforts. Just about anything positive that I accomplish is a reflection of the work of others. There's almost nothing I do in isolation. So just a huge thank you to the immediate team up here, all of you, the entire staff. Like literally, there's almost nothing I do on my own. So, Mandy, Frank, Nicole, the directors, I owe a lot of thanks to a lot of people. And thanks for the feedback.
Anything else from members of the committee? Seeing none, we'll move to a motion, please. The motion is to accept and approve.
Madam Chair.
Yep.
I move to accept and approve the superintendent evaluation for 2025 as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Did I skip it?
We haven't done it yet. It's not on the agenda.
All right. Motion carries, I believe. Sorry, got distracted.
I'm so sorry.
Um, Real quick, before we do superintendent report, I have an old agenda, I think.
No, I don't think it was like a last minute addition.
It was added, the,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
did that get
I
added
forgot
to?
about it too. I can speak to that for sure.
was it supposed to be
Um,
under finance?
I don't know. I don't have it. I don't see it.
It's not in
Nope,
here.
nope.
It's on
The-
the side, but.
Okay,
Yep, I didn't want to reprint, I shared via email that I
Yep.
was going to ask the committee to add something. I didn't want to rerun all the copies and I hope
Saving
you're
money for the
And
trying.
district.
And it was just
Noted.
time, et cetera.
Noted.
I appreciate the committee considering this, the timeliness of it because it's all about before and after school care services, which also includes the summer. The sooner, Kathleen was worried that if we wait until the next meeting to ask the committee to vote, that we might not have a finalized contract by the time school gets out. So she realized that today and we kind of scrambled. So last week we opened 3 bids for the before and after school care services contract. The team, which Laura maybe was on the team, Frank Rothwell and Kathleen,
Sean.
and Shauna Carlson. Thank you. Utilized the RFP rubric in reviewing the bids. We had 11 inquiries, 3 actual bids were received. They went through, graded the submissions, and we've provided a summary for you. But tonight I'm asking the school committee to award the before and after school service contract to Kidsborough. And Kidsborough is our current provider. They've been doing a fantastic job. So we would enter into a contract with them, ideally a 3-year contract.
any comments or questions from the committee?
Comment. I love that you got 3 sealed bids, not just 1. I love
Yeah.
when that number is not 1. It
Yep.
makes me feel great.
If you, I can talk a little bit more of people. So they were 3 very good. We have it's very strict what you look for. You have to, and you have to open it in front. Like, there can't be any shenanigans beforehand. Kathleen was terrific. Frank kind of led the charge. And you really have to go back and look. And we were actually open to some of the other ones, but they didn't meet the standards. So it was nice because we have heard good things about Kidsborough too. So they've been great to work with,
Yeah.
from my understanding.
Yep.
Parents have been
Yeah, they're wonderful.
pretty happy. Principals are happy. So
Are they local?
they're out of Southborough, which the other ones were not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is also nice. And Frank talked about how responsive they are if there's an issue.
Mhm.
So it wasn't planned because you kind of have to go through this. It's weird process, but anyway.
And we're not required to take the lowest bid.
And you're not required to take the lowest bid.
Correct.
Yes. But
It
yeah,
always bothered me about.
Yep.
Let's
That-
take the one that.
yeah.
the
I mean,
cheapest.
we looked at that too, though. That is,
Yeah.
you want to make sure you're giving a good
Yeah.
value, return on investment. So
Any other comments, questions?
What was the bid amount?
oh,
Question.
good,
Don't
great
know.
question. Though. Never remember.
I don't have it here. I can ask Kathleen, and we can go back to it if you like. And text her.
Do we need the number in order to vote?
No, I mean, I just think it's a key piece of information that I would have liked to have seen on the.
I mean,
sheet.
yes.
Well, I will punish her severely.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, Mandy will ask. So why don't we wait for her to
Okay.
respond and then come back to it?
Well, you're up again then, superintendent report.
Oh, great. Nicole and Chris hit on Everyday Heroes and the Special Olympics track meet. Scholarship night was held at Grafton High School last Thursday. Community organizations, businesses, and families provided over $50,000 in scholarships to just over 80 of our GHS seniors. It was just a really well done event. Amy kicked off the events with some comments, just a great evening all around. So really well done. Our 6th grade class is at Nature's Classroom in Freedom, New Hampshire this week. That's a fantastic, exciting, and tiring learning experience for our students. I just wanted to recognize all of the work that goes into making that event happen every year. And really I'm very, very thankful for all of our staff that leave their families for a week and go up there and deal with 6th graders for a week in the woods. So it's wonderful. I love it. And just going back, I think a few of the members were here when we started the program, but then we used to do it in the late fall and it was freezing and rainy. There you go. So it's like to be up there this week is pretty awesome that they made that shift. And I love how now it's all of 6th grade as opposed to doing the 2 schools differently. So in terms of organization, my left hand is helping me here. In particular, I want to recognize teachers Tria Burns and Rich Carew. They are the respective teacher leads from each of the two 6 schools, and without them, it simply wouldn't happen. So, thank you to everybody, and that's all I have.
Student representative report. How lucky are we? Have all 3 of you in one place on one night.
Yes, I can start with, we had prom last Saturday. It was at Union Station in Worcester. I would say it was a pretty fun night. The venue was very pretty and it was a good time.
Yeah, NHS Senior Night will be this Friday at Grafton High School.
Last week and this week we have AP testing. So that's been pretty big in the high school.
And then our graduation is going to be on the 29th at Hanover Theater. And our class night, I believe, is the night before as well, which will be held here in recognition of the class of 2025.
iPads are available for purchase for all the graduating seniors.
And then we have the athletic awards on May 15th or 19th.
And then today we had 2 sessions of an assembly for safe driving presented by Cara Filler. She told a story of losing her sister, and student council sponsored that. So
We held our To End It walk in honor of Miss Goodwill on May 9th, and the whole walk raised over $12,000.
Wow.
That's great. Awesome.
And then we have senior last day on May 23rd. Next week. Crazy.
next Friday.
That's crazy. And I know there's also not just the high school. I know there's a bunch going on. The middle school right now. They have their dance next week, or no,
Right,
this
week,
Friday. Next week's DC, right?
Mhm.
That's all.
Well, before you all leave, Madam Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
believe this is your last meeting, Riley and Megan. I'm just going to kick it off because you came on last year when I was chair, and I'm sure it was because of my influence. No, it has nothing to do with me. You have both been amazing. You're our first duo that we've ever had, and you were both so engaging and asked great questions. And I think really raised the bar for our student reps. And Delaney, I feel like that you got to learn from two of the best, and we're glad to have you as well to continue on. But you're both I've known both of you for a really long time, and you've grown you've grown up to be like amazing young women, and I'm so proud of both of you. And I know you're going to do great things in life and in your next steps. And thanks for being a part of this. It may seem like a little thing, but it's huge to have student voices, and especially yours. And I'm very appreciative of both of you. I'm sure the other members feel the
Can we
same.
pass them over?
And we have just a little something,
Little
a token
something.
of our appreciation.
Would you? Oh, not you two. I have tissues. I do. I have tissues. Would you like to tell us where you're headed to next? What your journey?
Yes,
Except-
I'm going to Wake Forest in North Carolina, and I'm going to be studying probably government or business.
Wow.
I'm going to Mount Holyoke College, which is in Mass, so I'll be pretty local. I'm majoring in psychology. I'm considering doing the pre-med track, which I know you're familiar with, Amy, which we talked about.
You were listening. Oh, God bless you.
I know I'll see you guys all around because I will come back to vote. I actually got to vote yesterday, which is exciting.
Okay. Wow. First vote.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
It's a
thank
big
you for
one.
coming.
Nice. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Well, I hope you two both never stop asking questions and challenging and making a difference, because we need more people like you in the world.
Just that you were so thoughtful and contributed so much to our meeting. So I will definitely miss you guys.
Thank you so much. It's been a great time. Thank you.
Yeah, we loved having you.
And learning from you guys was also a really great experience. It's also really awesome to see like an all-female school committee board, especially in this day and age.
Thanks.
Oh, we are. We're all girls. Go, AJ.
No one knows
No
that
comment.
We gotta do the photo.
Yeah, are we doing a picture?
Oh, we're doing a picture?
Let's do a picture.
Who's
Okay.
taking the picture?
I'll take it.
No, you gotta be in it.
Yeah.
How about Stella? You want to take a picture?
Yeah, Stella can do it.
Mr. Marr?
Nice shoes, Stella.
How are we gonna do this? Just stand behind our chairs and they can stand in front?
We don't have a
Oh,
seal.
yeah, we don't have a seat.
We don't have a seal anymore.
Do we stand back here and they stand
They're going over there.
They're having us sit.
Oh, we're going over there?
All right, we're gonna go in front.
Oh, wow.
To be behind.
Me too. It's because you're tall.
You'll be in the back because you're tall, so you know.
Just remember, we are still on video.
Oh, I'm sure everyone at home is enjoying this. Okay, I have to stand behind someone when I'm old.
You're definitely.
You turn this side. Can you see Laura?
Yes. Well, no,
There you go.
You're smiling. What's that?
Oh, wow. Chaos.
Missed it.
You didn't miss much.
Quite all right.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you. Delaney, you're also awesome, but yeah.
Oh, you guys can stay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You don't have, it's not like you have
enjoy.
homework.
I have an exam tomorrow, right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, AP Lang.
It's okay.
Good luck. Okay. That was exhausting. All right.
Emotionally.
We're not going to policy. I'm just going to spin it off. No.
We can stop that.
Future agenda items.
Amy has stacked the agenda with a bunch
I
of
did
really
no
crappy
such thing. I did no such thing.
We're going to reopen the budget.
No, no, no.
It's gonna be horrible.
Fees.
For your pleasure, at your next meeting on the 27th, you will have the reorganization of the committee. There will be a collaborative report, a school update from GHS. And by the way, let me just say that I am still going to watch because I didn't get to sit through the school update for GHS this year, and I'm upset about it. And there will be a facility rental fee review. I don't know if is that still going to happen, Jay, or is that timing not going to work?
Can you just restate that question, please?
Facility rental fee review.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Okay. And then the following, what on earth is that? The following meeting has the annual review of the bullying prevention intervention plan, future agenda calendar for the following year, quarterly report on the budget, and the athletics report. And that takes you to the end of the school year. And then the committee will exercise its pleasure in terms of scheduling meetings for July and August. Are there any questions, comments?
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
at the reorg, could we talk about having an executive session to speak on Dr. Cummings' contract since it expires at the end of June?
We could do that tonight.
No, we cannot.
Yeah, I already asked, but
Okay, I'll put that on the list.
thank
Did
you.
you do that just because he left the room? And
No, I would have done it in front of him. I don't.
Mandy, what do you think about that?
I don't see why not.
Okay, all right, fantastic. All right, good. Moving on to approval of minutes. I will take a motion whenever.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I move the committee approve the minutes of the April 8th, 2025 meeting.
Second that.
motion made and seconded. Any comments, questions on the minutes? Seeing no one, move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Financial report.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that the committee approve warrants 41, 42, and 42R.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Comments, questions, discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Quarterly budget report.
Madam Chair, I suggest we wait till Dr. Cummings gets back for this.
Agreed.
Sure. Can pass that over. I'll make a circle on that so I don't forget. Policy. Who's up? Ooh, my last policy.
You can do it. You start.
I'll start.
You can do
Okay.
as much as you want.
So we just looked at a lot of just kind of hanging out there policies. And I want to remember, sorry, I came here straight from a business
want me to
trip,
start?
So I,
I'm all set.
okay,
Okay, sorry, Laura.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we.
It has,
went
we
that.
did do this in preparation for April, so.
Yep.
Our first one, Madam Chair, I move to delete policy AEB, recognition for accomplishment.
And this was one, I believe.
Hold on.
what I
Oh,
was
second
struggling-
that.
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Go ahead.
What I was struggling for was, I believe this was one that just moved over from MASC. We had never had, or
No.
vice versa. I don't know where this.
No, it's just a whole different policy. We have, there's
Okay, I
two
shouldn't
recognition of
have even gone there.
accomplishments,
Yep.
but one, they didn't meet each other's needs, like,
Yeah.
and this just was really just a ridiculous policy
Yes.
Yep.
to have in the books.
It's old, and you'll see the next one that we have is a
Right.
commitment to, well, they're different, but we don't ever do this.
Right,
Right.
And if we want to do it, we can. We don't need a policy.
right.
So as Christy, I think said, did you say it was ridiculous?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. We don't like it.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Again, for deletion of AEB. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Want me to keep going, Leora?
Sure.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so this one is not the same. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this as presented. Policy AE, commitment to accomplishment.
Second.
Motion made, seconded.
Okay, so this one, we thought this was a little vague, so I added just some notes, or we added some notes on the bottom of what this means. This is a MASC policy, and it talks about our program of accountability that school committee should do. You can read it yourself, but I asked, well, exactly what do you mean by clear statements of expectations and purpose? That's what our policies are. Provisions for staff is the district budget. Evaluations of operations, our evaluation of our superintendent, reports that come to you. So you can see below. Some of it I was like, we don't evaluate, for instance, our staff. That's not our job, is to evaluate our staff, but we evaluate the programs that come to us. So I wanted to clarify, we will remove these notes, but I wanted these in here for your reference. Any questions? Comments? Thoughts?
Madam Chair.
Badgers?
Yep.
Mrs. Austin, so then nothing's changing on the,
Mm-mm.
okay, then that's fine.
No, nothing's changing, but I
Yeah, no, I see what
thought
you're
it was a
saying.
little, I wanted to just be clear.
Right.
Especially the
It's weird. and
the
it's-
evaluation of the efforts
Yeah.
of employees. I mean, I understand now, thanks to the notes, so thank you for
Right.
doing that.
Oh, look, we did
Very well.
research. I know.
Maybe the policy people at MASC need to know that that's vague.
Yeah.
I don't know.
May I make I also think it's weird. The title is also just weird.
Yeah.
Into accomplishment? What does that even
Right.
mean? We will accomplish things.
I think the word's supposed to be accountability.
Right. Right.
Because
it
the word
seems like-
accountable.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
everywhere.
it's not,
It's really odd.
that is
Oh,
odd.
we don't have to, we can make an edit.
I just wonder if they made a mistake. But
yeah, I mean, I
if
would,
we change it now, we've made a change, and it's
yeah,
a
I would
thing,
just,
so
That's
I would just leave it. It'll be in the minutes why we decided to do it this way.
That's true.
All right.
because people like to go back and they're gonna read and they're gonna say,
Some people do.
Some people do.
some people do, that's right, they
Some
do.
people
They watch the meetings is what they do.
They're looking at us now, so yeah. They do. Okay, is there anything else on AE commitment to accomplishment?
Mm,
Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Okay. Okay.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next. Uh-oh.
ADDA, I can do
Thanks.
this. Chair.
Yeah.
Thanks. Love you.
I move the committee approve as reviewed policy ADDA, background checks.
Second,
This is,
Motion made and seconded.
this is extremely lengthy. It was an MASC policy that we took on but never voted to accept. I would actually like to amend my motion. I'm sorry. I would like to together accept ADDA and ADDR, which has the model Corey policy attached as well.
Yeah.
So both approve as reviewed.
second,
Very cool. All right. Any comments, questions?
this is very standard.
I sent this on to our friends in Uxbridge, by the way. They're having a bit of a problem. They instituted a policy basically claiming that this also applied just to parents,
Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah.
which was a huge problem and continues to be. They're gonna. I think they're gonna undo it, hopefully. But I had gone through and found this and sent it over to them and say, hey, that's not actually what this is. All right. Anything else? Seeing no further discussion, move to a vote. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to approve as reviewed BBAA School Committee Member Authority.
Second,
Motion made and seconded.
It's written great, and it's a good reminder for all of us and any incoming school committee members to read it. It outlines our roles and what we can and should and should not do. It was great to read for me, and I think for everyone.
Nerd.
But it's a good reminder.
I'm going to miss keeping abreast of new laws and latest trends.
I mean, you can still do it, that could
Yeah,
be your
happy to
hobby,
do
Nobody's
that.
stopping
it can be
you.
a hobby.
No, but I won't be on the mailing list anymore, so I won't get the daily
I think Keith is still on the mailing list. So I'm sure he can stay on
I'm
the
sure it
list.
takes them a while to.
No, he'll respond to me. What's going on?
All right. Is there anything further on this policy? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next.
Okay, Madam Chair,
Yep.
I move the committee accepts or approve as reviewed policy BBBA/BBBB. Say that 5 times fast. School committee member qualifications / oath of office.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Any
Gotta be
discussion?
quick.
Yeah.
I'm really slow today. Sorry.
Nope, standard.
Standard.
It's an MASC specific that we never voted on, but
Yep.
have. So.
Okey-doke. Seeing no discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Something funny over there?
No.
Do you want to
You
share
know,
with the class?
No, we're all
I
set.
was prepping my hand.
She was
I
like
going-
prepping like
Oh, yeah,
this,
I was
like-
slow on everything else. No, I'm here. I'm here.
Careful consideration of school committee policy. All right, next.
Madam Chair,
Yeah,
I'd like to make a motion to approve as reviewed BBC school committee member resignation.
Second.
You really wanted it.
firing on all cylinders here.
Last time you got upset.
I'm failing.
Any discussion?
No.
No. You
Seeing
can,
none, we'll-
you can resign if you want to.
Seeing none.
We
And if
have a
you don't,
policy.
if you move and you don't resign, you're automatically out. I love that. That's my
Vacate
favorite
the
thing.
office.
Yeah.
All right, anything further on this? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And
Last
finally, we have a first reading. I
Doesn't
move
have
we
to be.
accept it as a, yeah, or we
Just
just, we
leave
made
it.
small changes to BBBE, unexpired term fulfillment. It kept referencing a city council, which we don't have. So we removed those, struck those references. And I present it as approve as reviewed, if everyone's
Yeah.
comfortable with that.
Yes. Second.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. Thank you. I was looking for
For
somebody.
somebody to actually. make a
Anybody
motion.
second it? No, you made the motion. You started it. All right.
You did.
Thank you for doing all of this work. This is great. I agree. It's such a minor change. I mean, obviously, we don't have a city council, so
Right.
it's fine.
Madam
Oh, yeah.
Madam Chair, can I ask?
No.
Yes, because Dr. Cummings put it on, the KHB, I know that subcommittee discussed it. Can I ask why we're not using the MASC version of that policy? Why?
What?
Yes.
Wait, whoa. What about KH? What are we talking about?
Remember, we looked at KHB in terms of advertising, just in reference to the boosters discussion?
And
Okay,
then-
but we're on this right now.
We'll tell this, we're done
We're-
policy.
No, we're not. We didn't
Oh,
vote.
we didn't vote? Oh, I did, we
That's
did.
why I
vote.
was
Oh, okay,
confused.
sorry, I thought we voted on it.
Okay, so let's do BBBE. We'll do the vote and then we can talk about that,
Yeah,
okay?
vote.
All right. There's a hand in the audience. I don't know. I think I'm going to exercise my power as chair to not take public participation at this time. Fine.
Who's commenting on this?
It's probably a spelling error.
You just send an
Uh,
email.
Just say
no,
your
just-
name and, hold
yes.
on.
Spelling error,
Your
please just send.
Name
No.
and
Is it a comma?
your relationship to the district, please.
Greg Marr. I have a child in the district and a spouse on the board. The problem here, there is a clear procedure for filling vacancies on the school committee in the town charter, and these dates do not comply with that.
Oh, thank you.
Love it.
So I question the need for this policy at all, seeing as how the policy is already fully defined by the town charter.
We're going to have a fight.
Mm,
Policy Subcommittee, what would you like to do?
Can we take it back?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll just take it back.
We'll take it back.
Great. Now we're done policy.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Marr. I know I give you a hard time, but thank you very much for that catch.
Policy before I
Okay.
brought it up.
Okay, Christy, go ahead.
Yeah, KHB, so that was my question. I'm sorry, I thought you had said we were done policy earlier.
That's okay.
My
Why-
question is, why are we not using the MASC version on this?
We didn't, well, I can answer that. We looked at this policy 3 years ago, and we didn't move over to the MASC policy because I think we just had some very specific, I don't remember the MASC policy right now. We can certainly just take a look at it again. When we reviewed it, we weren't looking at that. We were looking at our current approved one. I trying to go back my memory. I did think we were very concerned at the time about certain advertisement, and we wanted our own policy, but can certainly take a look and see if things have changed and a reminder of that policy and what it is. But this was one that we had worked on, so when we went over, we didn't want to just automatically undo all the work that we had done, so we brought over some that were still relevant. So this was 2022, so at the time when we did this it was 2023 at this point, so that's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I just want to
certainly-
note that in that policy, it references policy AD, which it links to an old PDF, doesn't even link to the
Yeah.
MASC, and then our AD, like that's kind of wonky too, because we never, when we switched over to the MASC stuff, AD was supposed to switch over to the MASC AD, and
And it's not linked
it's
to the
not.
right? Okay.
no.
Okay. Member reports.
Oh, sorry, one more thing, Madam Chair.
What?
Just to let you guys know, policy KF-R, we had voted to delete it back in January. It's the
still up?
MASC version,
It is. It's totally
still
my
up.
fault. Can you say that again, Christy?
KF-R.
I kept meaning to ask you again. I wrote it down. I could not find my notes, so thank you.
Here, let me help.
No, I wrote it down here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to
I
look
lost
at the
it.
Quarterly budget report.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Quarterly budget report. We waited for you, Jay.
Oh, thanks so much. And I do have that information. If you want to go after this or whenever you
We'll
would
do it
like,
now.
we can go back to the Kidsborough thing.
Okay.
I have that. Quarterly report. Trying to.
The font is so small.
So Kathleen put together a two-page overview that preceded the chart. She's been talking with, we received some feedback from a committee member about changes going forward to that report to make it, to improve upon it. So she's been talking quite a bit about what it's going to look like going forward. I may ask that she come to the next meeting and speak to those revisions and get more feedback on what that could look like to be more helpful for the committee. But we're going to be super tight. Obviously, we want to close the budget on budget. Would be nice. It's going to be really challenging. Next year, without a doubt, is going to be our tightest fiscal year, and definitely the past 15 years, probably longer than that. Just not having circuit breaker funding and revolving money in reserve. Without that, it's brutal. So it's our first time experiencing it. I do not like it one bit. I can take any questions anybody has.
Comments, questions from the committee?
Madam Chair.
Yep.
So Dr. Cummings, as you know, I'm not really a fan of this report, basically mainly because it ends on 4/23, which hits into fourth quarter. Quarterly should end on the quarter, and the reason why I believe that is important is for data analysis going forward and such, and to avoid any sort of double counting when running the report, when you run fourth quarter, that we've already accounted for some of the stuff back in third, quote unquote, third quarter. I would like to wait on a vote for this until Kathleen is here to speak on it, or does the revision?
We
don't
don't
vote
need
on it.
We don't
need to
vote?
vote.
Okay,
Nope.
then,
It's just an update.
and when do we speak on transfers? Because that requires a vote.
We don't require.
Yes,
vote
we do.
on- We don't.
By policy, we do.
We've never done it that way.
But by
So
policy,
if we do, that would probably be June.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions on the quarterly budget report? Okay, we'll go back to the Kidsborough
Yes, thank you.
contract.
Yep, this one.
Oh, wow.
So coming around, I pulled the tuition and fee schedule. I didn't print it, but on the following page, they do have a sliding scale based on economic or income status that's in line with what we utilize.
Wow. Okay. I'll give the committee a couple of minutes.
I'm good.
Yeah, I got it.
The late pickup is $1 per minute. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that was in line with the others.
Yeah.
It's crappy, but it's in line with the others.
Standard.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else?
Nope.
All right, I will take a motion.
Madam Chair.
Yep.
I move the committee approve the contract with Kidsborough for before and after school care for next school year.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. It'll go through June 30th, 2028, just so everybody's aware.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, great. Member reports. Does anyone have any member reports?
Yeah, I have a ton.
Rebecca worked to channel her rage.
No, we were like a month ago.
Well, it's been a while.
Right, we
Right.
missed me.
Are we starting this way?
Sure. You have anything?
I don't.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
I do. Did I? Oh, yes, I do.
You certainly do.
Thank you. It seems like so long ago now. I attended the Day on the Hill, MASC Day on the Hill in Boston. We got to hear some great speakers, some legislators, some MASC representatives. We got to have a lovely breakfast. And then the real highlight was a bunch of the tech school culinary programs catered lunch, and there was so much food, and it was amazing. It was amazing. There was this chocolate thing. It was amazing. Anyway, but it was really wonderful to see so many excited people there that are on school committee and see some legislators out there, and just to be in rainy Boston on a Tuesday. Was that a Tuesday? Yeah, on a Tuesday. It was lovely, and not be at work. So.
Great.
Okay, Madam
Christie.
Chair.
Yep.
It's been a long time, so I have a lot of stuff. I attended the trivia coding night held by the High School Computer Science Honor Society. They ran it. They came up with the concept. They did a whole grant program, and a special thanks to Lucas, Jade, and Aaron, Kevin, and Otis, and Mrs. Allen for running that. That was for 2nd to 6th graders. It was quite a fun evening. Then I attended the Hope Day celebration at South Grafton Elementary School with Mrs. Often. She showed up a little late, so I had to sing by myself to represent the school committee. I really
Yeah.
thank her for that.
Yeah.
Her and I
That's true.
then visited all the schools after to say hello to all the principals. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, so I'd like to just shout out to all of our teachers. We appreciate you so much. And I had the pleasure of going to South Grafton Elementary School all day last Monday to make mocktails, and I got to see some of the new kindergarteners have their screening. My nephew was one of them, so that was fun. I served lunch on Tuesday at Millbury Street Elementary School. They had Taco Tuesday, catered by Qdoba. We brought breakfast to school at the Grafton Middle School on Wednesday. And then yesterday, I get to see Mrs. Stockland off on her last Nature's Classroom trip. She refused to let me take a picture, but mentally it's here. And then attended town meeting last night too. So that's all I have.
Also attended MASC Day on the Hill. I won't belabor it, but the Dubai chocolate was indeed amazing.
Was phenomenal.
Yeah, really impressive work, those culinary programs. And really good to kind of recommit to and hear from MASC about legislative priorities and things. Also, it has been a long time since we've met, so I'm going to update the last CPAC meeting I attended, which was focused on ESY. And I will say that Melissa and Nicole just were masterful in terms of answering parents' questions and concerns. And then Melissa, like moments later, got out notes to all the parents with timing and assignments for their kids. So again, I just want to shout out to our special education department because they do an incredible job. And we are lucky to have an engaged CPAC that interacts with them really well. And that was great to see. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something else, but
Been a long time.
it has.
Oh,
I think you're up.
No, I go last.
Okay, I
On the
need to be
chair.
circled back then
No,
after.
I'm not doing that.
No. Well, then fine. Yeah, everybody gave my updates. I will say the one really good thing was that there were a couple legislators, and Rebecca said there was a really good breakfast. I would disagree, but we had some,
being generous.
some
It was nice that
muffins.
they gave us food.
and the
I
fact
see
that
that
we
was a good
didn't
breakfast.
throw any of our muffins at some of the legislators
We wanted to.
There
was
there was some rage.
Herculean strength.
Oh.
I don't know, there's definitely some stuff on the Hill where they're really concerned that MCAS is no longer a graduation requirement, and what are they gonna do? And
Yeah.
I was like furious about things.
We had a
So
lot of rage.
we had a
all
lot of
over.
rage. We
Still
also,
talking about that?
yeah, they're very
Aw.
concerned. They're gonna come up with something.
Some other new way.
Gotta come up with something.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and we did run into Michael Moore, as well. So that was good.
Dave Meridian was not on the Hill that day.
Yeah, we did reach out, and he said he's happy to meet with us at any time. I talked to him last night as well. So anyway, it was a good event.
Mrs. Often,
Yeah.
did you inform the superintendent of?
I didn't. Do you want me to do that?
Yes,
publicly?
I would love for that to be done
I did
publicly.
go driving with Christy, and I know my opinion on other drivers probably doesn't mean much to you. I thought she was a fine driver. She did a great job. We
In
had
a
lovely
standard?
time. I was impressed.
I'm sorry.
I got
am the
to-
best at drop-off.
I'm not going to say much.
I didn't. I wanted to do
You're
it
not
with
one of the strongest drivers I've ever seen.
who? Christy?
Yeah.
Me.
Well,
Today, the superintendent directed me into the side of a bus. That was his way of directing.
James.
times are hard.
It was
This is why school committee is the best, by the way. Lots of laughs.
And a Mean Girls reference on your last day.
There was a Mean Girls reference?
That kind of was.
Oh,
little
I'm not,
bit.
I'll go and then you can go.
No, I just.
No, I need to do regular stuff and then you can do your thing and then I'll do mine.
Okay.
I would like to congratulate James Clements, who's in the booth tonight, younger brother of Ben Clements, who is going to be our normal video guy. Thank you, James. Make us look and sound great. I did go to scholarship night, as has been reported. I did speak. I'm absolutely flattered that a student remembered one thing that I said.
Awesome.
Because I slaved over that speech, knowing full well that no one would remember anything I said. But I did talk about how I started out pre-med, and apparently that stuck with Megan. Arts night at the high school is Thursday at 6 for the art walk, and the bands and choruses will perform at 7 o'clock. It is free. Please come out and celebrate music here in Grafton. There will also be awards for our seniors that night. Congratulations, since I will not be here to the class of 2025, on all of your accomplishments, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Please go to Bon Voyage and be safe. Congratulations, and thank you to all of the parents who worked so hard to put on that great event. Can't wait till it's my turn next year. That's what I have in terms of regular updates from me.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Want to do one, also fun fairs this weekend for anybody who wants to go. I think I'm volunteering at concessions, so come say hello. Go support our North Grafton parent teacher group. And Amy, it is your last meeting.
It is.
So we have a little gift for
I've only
you.
said it 4 times.
If anybody doesn't know, Amy, I would like to say it's been a pleasure working with you. You have been, I wrote this on Facebook, but a steady hand. Amy was chair on 2 really difficult years. She and followed me both times, which probably she had some messes to clean up. I don't know, but she, there'll never be anybody who knows procedure as well as you do on this committee. You're well, if Greg Marr gets elected, we'll see. But you just, your commitment to this district, you're caring about the students. You were tirelessly answering questions and trying to get the right information out all the time, even before you were on the committee. You're always somebody we could count on to do that. And you know now how important that is to have people out there advocating. You're a fearless advocate for students. You've been through a lot from this community and this committee. I meant community. But, I hope Grafton is as grateful to you as I am. You've been a wonderful part of this. You've left a legacy that we will feel for years to come. And I'm very grateful for you and we'll miss you.
Thank you.
And we got you a little gift. It's not wrapped, but you need to open it here.
You do open it in front of us right now.
Yeah,
We put a lot of thought.
we did. As a team, just so you know.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's been sitting on my counter for like, oh my God. this is
4
so
years.
I don't want to break it.
You won't break it. It's the box. The scene.
Okay. Oh, this is what I think it is.
It sure is.
Oh, that's awesome. Aw. It's a gavel with my name on it. Thank you, guys. I'm like the only one that would appreciate this, right? Like,
Correct.
It's a very neat gift.
It's very you, very personal.
Yeah.
It's a gift we thought you would like.
I do like it. I'm going to get to use it exactly 1 time.
Why? Well, you can use it at home.
You can use it for Greg all the time. This is a home gift,
Art
Greg.
shaking his head. He doesn't like that.
Amy, I have a feeling you're not done with local government.
So,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's another committee.
I am going to
that's
be
gonna
president
enjoy
of the Westboro Community Chorus for 2 years. Do you think they would like it if I use my gavel at
think
our
they should.
operation?
I think everybody would
Oh, no, my
appreciate
computer
it.
just went off.
If they need a gavel,
I don't think
if
you need
they do,
They
then-
might.
Exactly.
They might.
I don't know. Sorry if anybody else has something to say. I'm so chatty. I'm sorry.
Just thank you, Amy, for all
Yeah.
you've done over the years.
I'm super appreciative.
Yeah.
I had fun running with you.
I know, that
last
was so
year.
much fun.
It was fun.
No, I mean, I was
Well,
glad to
it
have you,
wasn't fun.
but
I
it
was
wasn't fun.
glad we did it together. That wasn't
That-
necessarily a fun election, but
All right. Anybody else?
Amy, I just remember that day that I came in to talk to the school committee to ask if I could be on the vacated position, and you called me personally afterwards, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like,
Nobody ever does,
Oh.
Rebecca.
it was great. And it really made me feel like when, a spot came available, it made me feel like I could do that. And so thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Everybody done? Jay's over here grinning like a Cheshire cat.
It's great. On my end, just thank you for all of your tremendous support, your leadership. I'm going to miss you and the weekly coffees every Thursday that she would bring me that were awesome.
If you want Jay's coffee order, let me know. I'll hook you up.
It's pretty easy. So just thank you for all you've done for the district and for me personally.
Okay. So as my final meeting as chair and member of this committee draws to a close, I would like to take this opportunity to share a few thoughts, reflections, and thanks. Buckle up. I have learned so much since I was first elected in 2019. I think we all have. The world is such a different place now. One of the first things I learned was that despite the sometimes frustratingly slow pace at which government moves, education moves at lightning speed. Educators are constantly finding new and better ways to teach, New technologies make learning more accessible to many students, and research into how we learn isn't stuck in the ivory towers of colleges and universities, but put into practice in our classrooms daily. It has been thrilling and exciting to get to see the inner workings of the district, to witness the growth and progress firsthand in spite of the many challenges we have faced. The Grafton Public Schools has improved in so many ways, and I'm so proud to have played a very small part in that. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve this town, our resilient team of faculty and staff, and of course, our precious students. From learning about cherry sheets and policy making to those Friday afternoon COVID guidance documents dropping from DESE, it's been an amazing experience, and I'd be lying if I said that I wouldn't miss it. I will miss working with some of the very best in our community. Thank you to everyone I've had the pleasure of serving with, including Melissa Mazan, Heather Riley, Rahul Rati, Liz Spinney, Graciela Vargas Baker, Jennifer Connolly, Christy Kilbazinski, Rebecca Soko, Leora Brahm, and Laura Often. I've learned something from each of you that have made me a better person, teammate, and school advocate. Thank you to Peter Carlson for asking if I'd be interested. I was. To Lisa Kelly for teaching me everything she knows about running for office, even if I didn't always listen. Sue Robbins for all of her help and advice. David Robbins for all of his parliamentary procedure teaching. Tracy Novick, our mask field director, and everyone I've ever bothered with questions. I'm especially grateful to Dr. Cummings, who has always made me feel respected and valued, even though I have probably asked him a million of the dumbest questions imaginable. We are so fortunate to have him at the helm of our district. His quiet servant leadership is rare these days, but it is such a big part of Grafton's success, and he never gets all of the credit he deserves because he deflects it onto the other people around him. Finally, I would like to thank my family, Greg, Ainsley, and Callan. Sorry. Thank you for your constant support, all the early dinners, and being quiet during all of those Zoom meetings. I am excited about the future of the district. This committee is going to face some big challenges, and I'm going to be rooting for them. I'll continue to be involved, to watch meetings and ask questions, and I hope everyone does. If we truly want our children and our schools to succeed, this is a critical time to stay engaged and vote. Too many of us are not using our voice until we reach critical times. We need to be voting in every single election, especially municipal ones, because that is where our vote counts most immediately. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Election Day is Tuesday, May 20th. Polls are open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'll be there, and I hope to see you too. Good night, Grafton, and go Gators. Meeting adjourned.